tell me how you're going to fund transportation for the next generation of Texans. And start at that end and come this way.
Well, I believe in looking at ways to create a leaner and more equitable Texas Department of Transportation, look to eliminate government waste when it occurs, because it does occur a lot. And it takes a lot to sift through that minutia and find it, but I'm willing to put in the hours to make sure that we do. As Texas continues to grow, we have to continue to plan for that expansion, because you're not really free if you have to wait 3 hours to get to work in the morning because the congestion is so bad. When I was working down in Austin, I could see the Capitol from where I was staying, and yet it could take me sometimes half an hour to get down to the office because they hadn't planned for their future. So I'm encouraged by a lot of different emerging technologies that are taking place. You know, I saw a self-driving car the other day in Lindale. I thought that was pretty awesome. So they're coming. They're going to be in town. They're already on the roads. I think that could be an effort to reduce congestion. But in the meantime, I think what we're going to require is about $8 to $10 billion additionally over the $20 billion that we're already funding the Texas Department of Transportation. And that's something that we'll have to look, and it's just a matter of prioritizing your budget. When we meet down there in Austin, where are we evaluating, where are we putting this money to, where are we deciding that we need to have this money? And I think that our first priority has to be the education of our children, and that should be what we deal with first. And then let's talk about infrastructure needs, and let's prioritize and move money around to find it. I'm not in favor of additional sources of revenue for the state to try and tax you. I think you're paying enough in taxes. You should have good roads, and the state should be responsible for crunching those numbers and making sure that happens.
Well, I'm not for new taxes either. In the state of Texas right now, the explosive growth, if you will, is in 8 or 9 counties. And those 8 or 9 counties right now are suffering over infrastructure and roads. I mean, just try to get from Waco to Austin. I dare you, just try it on 35. So there are a number of ways that we probably could look and find those cuts. But what I'm excited about, and that's a huge question and we could talk about, but what I'm excited about, and this is the thing that I'm excited about, with the natural resources that we have here in East Texas, and with all the congestion that's happening on that I-35 corridor and all the stuff that's going down in Houston, we have the natural resources and we have the ability right here in East Texas to attract those businesses and to attract new businesses and put them right here where it's benefiting us so much more than if they move to Dallas or if they move to Austin or if they move to Houston. I don't have the answer of funding roads. Last session we carved out, y'all remember voting on the amendment to carve out money out of the general budget, which I've always kind of thought was a little dangerous, but there's some thresholds there that kind of kept us safe. I said this a while ago, in the next session, because of our energy prices, I'm afraid that money's not going to be there. So we really have to look. We have to look at all of the ways that we can cut, and all the ways that we can fund. The problem is right now, the way I see it, is that most of the money in that budget's already spoken for, and we're legislating about this much of the pie. So we're going to have to look. We're going to have to look for all of the priorities, education, water issues, those sort of things, and find the answers.
I feel like government's doing way more than they're supposed to be doing. The Constitution does require a free public education. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be funding our infrastructure and keeping up with growth. But the state's doing so many other things that we shouldn't be doing. We spend an enormous amount of money on Medicaid. I think we need to be looking for a fraud in there. We spend a lot of money on corporate welfare. Guys, I don't believe in government-engineered economic development. I believe in low regulation, low taxes, and freedom. And we, the people, will create the economic development if the government will get off our back. And so those are some of the things that I believe will help us. More local freedom and cutting waste where we can find it.
decision. And that's something that needs to come up because we do have problems with the infrastructure. One of the big problems is money has been directed in the past to go to transportation in the budget. Does anybody know that about 25% of that is redirected somewhere else? You probably heard about that. Well, if we direct something and vote on it to go somewhere, then dang it, we need to make sure that's where it goes. We need to quit redirecting things after it's voted on up there in the legislature. So that's one of the ways you can solve that problem. Cole brought up Medicaid. You know how much money is given to illegal aliens in this state? It's outrageous the amount of money that goes from each of your taxpayers' dollars, from everyone from property tax, pay for school taxes, pay for hospital taxes. There's approximately 40 illegal babies born in Parkland Hospital in Dallas each day. Multiply that across the state. There are kids in this state that get in-state tuition that are illegal aliens. That's wrong. We need to stop that and start making our tax dollars work for Texas citizens.